Now let's jump right in by adding some reference images to our scene in the form of viewport backgrounds. Okay, so building a car, it will be nice to have some sort of reference imagery in the different viewports that we can look at when we're actually building our geometry out, so we know what lines need to follow where and what pieces need to go where so that everything fits together. Now, one of the ways that we can add reference imagery into our scene is to use viewport backgrounds. So I'm going to go ahead and select a particular viewport. In this case, I'll start with the top. And to access our viewport backgrounds, we're going to go to Views, down to Viewport Background, and here we can add Viewport Background. You can see that Alt-B is the hotkey combination for this. Go ahead and open that up. And now there are a bunch of different options in here. The ones I want you to look at are the Match Bitmap. So we're going to match the aspect ratio to the particular image. And I want to lock the zoom and pan as well so that that image stays there when I move in and out, so that the image will actually move along with the geometry. So I'm going to select those two options here, and we'll go up to Files, and the images are going to be located in your Scene Assets images in your project files. So I'll go ahead and select for this one the top, open that up, and simply click OK. You can see how that image is now added. If we go and right click on the name of our viewport, we can go down to Show Background and turn that off if we want to turn that invisible. Okay, but it's still there. We'll go down and do the same thing on the left hand side. So we'll go to View, Viewport Background, open that up, choose our options, and let's load in the side image this time. Let's say OK, and then we'll repeat the process for the front. Okay, we'll click Match Viewport, lock zoom and pan, and then open that front image. Alright, you can see that nothing is showing up in the perspective. Everything is going on in our orthographic views. Okay, and you can see as I zoom in and out, that follows along. Okay, if you don't have that on, you'll zoom in on your geometry, but the image plane will actually, or the viewport background will actually stay there. Alright, so let's go ahead and check, and just to make sure everything is lined up correctly and scaled correctly, I'm going to grab a box in my Create panel. From the top, I'm just going to drag this out, kind of the size of the car, and then pull that up to the height, so that you can see it goes from front to back in the side and top, so that matches up. It goes from the bottom of the wheels, the tires, up to the top in the front and also in the side. So everything looks like it matches up fairly well. Keep in mind there are some options here in your viewport background. If your images change, you can always go in and update the background images. If you see that the image isn't looking like it's supposed to, you know you've done something to it and it hasn't been updated, you can always go in and change that. Alright, so now what we have is the ability to come in and start to build geometry from the different viewports and get that to match up so that everything comes together nicely. So let's go ahead and do that in the next lesson. We'll start by looking at how we can build some of this geometry, what pieces we can build first to kind of take advantage of what computers do well, and then what we can do later on and take advantage of what you as an artist can do well. So we'll look at how we can start to bring geometry into the scene and start to slowly build up the body of our car. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do that starting in the next lesson.